So we're looking forward to what's going on. There's going to be a continuous focus on cost reduction or cost savings. There's no new borrowing in 2010. We started that in 2006 for operational budgets. We pay as we go or we don't go. We want to maintain the current level of service, but we need to be prepared to reduce costs if projected revenues or cost savings are not realized. So here we sit, and I'm saying that we're going to bring so many revenues in, but you know what? If the recovery doesn't occur or the revenue doesn't come in, we're going to have to regroup just like we did in January of this year. And we're going to utilize all sources of cash, and I'll talk to that in a moment. In 2010, we dropped the mortgage tax from $510,000 last year to $225,000 this year. Sales tax remains at $1 million. Court revenue remains at $350,000. Grants are down to $41,000. And I want to talk about grants. The state of New York right currently has a $3.2 billion deficit. They're looking by this time next year to be $10 billion in deficit. Okay? New York's got to do something. So grant money, I think, may dry up. I know we bought a truck in calendar year 2006 with a grant. We bought the truck and paid cash for it. We still don't have the money from the state of New York. We bought an air conditioner for the police department in 2008. We paid $11,000. We still don't have that money from the state of New York. And I'm not surprised. The state of New York is in dire straits too. I'm not counting on it. I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm not counting on the state of New York. Because they're going to do some things come January that's going to make our hair curl for those people who have hair. It's going to really be something. Mark my word. It's going to impact the schools and your school taxes, etc., and your medical, and lots of things. Fund balances. This board I'm going to share with you is fiscally, I think, responsible. We have been able to squirrel away a little cash every year so that we can pay unexpected bills, like the air conditioning and like the truck. We buy them, we pay for them right then because we have the cash in the checking account. So right now, at the end of calendar year 2009, in all of our accounts, we have about $700,000 in cash. Sounds good. So we're going to take that cash and we're going to use that to pay down taxes and keep the lid on taxes for next year. We also have a parkland fee account. Every time an applicant or a builder gets a subdivision and he gets so many houses approved, they either pay $3,000 or $3,500. Bill, do you know what the number is?
I think $3,500.
$3,500. For every time you see a new building lot, that builder has to give the town of Goshen $3,500 goes in a parkland fee. And that's to buy parkland and or build capital improvements like fields, bathrooms, etc. And we have $185,000 in that account. And we're taking all that money out of that account. And we're going to use that to pay down the debt on Salesian, which is a park. So, after doing those two cash things, we're going to end up having to tax the public $4,246,928. Now, that was on the revenue. Let's look at expenses. When you look at expenses, in 2009, our budget, we're going to spend $7,427,000. In calendar year 2010, we're going to spend $7,401,000. We're only going to spend about $26,000, $27,000 less next year than this year. But then we got to look at what our expenses are. You know, some people say, well, boy, that's not much cutting. Well, let me share what we had to cut. Everybody's going to get a wage increase. The MTA tax, which I think was a big mistake by our state legislature, we have to pay 30 cents on every $100 of wages we pay any of us. That's a big, big number, multi-thousands of dollars that we're paying on our behalf to the MTA in New York that we don't get any benefit from. But that's what the Albany legislature's done. With the fall of the market in December of 2008, when it plummeted from $14,000 down to, what did it go down, Six. Okay. When it fell $8,000, where that number was, okay, your retirement system lost equity. It lost big time. And so the state of New York is saying, well, that's not our fault. You got to pay more into the pension plan for every one of your employees. We said, the hell you say? Oh yeah, that's what's got to be. And it's up to 18%, just that one item, so that we can get, or you can get, a retirement. We've got to refund that. We've got to put it back in there. Okay. So, insurance, workman's compensation. It's a travesty in the state of New York. And here again, I think the state legislature is at fault. It is so rich, anybody can take advantage of it, and there's nothing we can do. We have an employee who left our employment before I got here, and we paid $60,000 in medical things for her year to date in August. We didn't get work out of that person. They're not even here. These costs add up, and we as the taxpayers are paying for it. And they get into work. And you know what? And those kinds of things get in the ability to our doing our jobs. Because if you're siphoning off the dollars there, you're not getting the services from the people who are here doing our jobs. Asphalt and fuel costs. Comes out of an oil well. Over the last 3, 4, 5 years, it's gone up triple or whatever it is. It's just astronomical. And we have 73 miles of road. We put down a lot of asphalt, whether it be patching or paving. We just do. Equipment replacements. We got delivery today of a truck. Trucks aren't cheap. $135,000. Put a snow plow on it, sander, this, that. The truck that we replaced was a 1993. And we used it last year on an emergency basis. It just died. And we have one more. I think we got a 1994 we got to replace. And we're going to pay cash. We pay cash for these. But that's why we can't get that thing down below 7.4 million. This is like a great big battleship. You can't turn the wheel and expect it to turn. It just doesn't turn. And this is why our federal government, state government, and other governments, schools are having problems. You can't stop it on a dime. I want to talk about debt history. And because this is the part that I'm very proud of this board. I really am proud of this board. Okay? Because they agreed early on in 2006 that we pay cash and don't borrow. And we have two kinds of debt. We have operational debt, which is trucks, cars, asphalt, and whatever. And then we have PDR, which is purchase and development rights. In 2004, the public voted on a referendum authorizing and encouraging the town board to spend up to $5 million on purchase and development rights. Farms, open space. So, if you look at the operations line, by not borrowing money for operations, we took the debt in 2007 from $3 million to the end of this year, the current year, or the one we're budgeting, be down to $1.7 million. And yet PDR is going from $1.48 million, and it's going to go up to basically $2.4 million at the end of next year. You add the two together, we're almost $400,000 less in debt at the end of next year after buying all these farms than we started out in 2007. Every company, every municipality, every school should have such a good statement on debt reduction. You know, so it's a thing to do.